Thank you all for being here. I think we're all here because we are deeply worried about climate change, about the fact that the temperatures are ever increasing, and about the fact that our ecosystem is being ravaged by what's going on. Why is this happening? The answer is actually very simple. Pollution is responsible for all of this. This is due to the ever-increasing carbon footprint we're seeing around the world. Why is this happening? The answer is also surprisingly simple. As the population of the world is increasing, so is the energy consumption of the world. And the really worrisome thing about it all are what are the power sources that are being used to give power to the world. The three major sources of energy are natural gas, crude oil, and coal. This is exactly what you guys spoke about a few minutes ago. They have a huge carbon footprint. And they are also really the major sources of energy. We also have biofuels, which have a smaller footprint, but a non-trivial one. And we see that up here we have nuclear electricity and hydroelectricity, whose carbon footprint is virtually zero. And the question is, why aren't we using more of these kind of green energies, and how are these green energies made? So green energies are made based on differences. They're harvested using differences. For example, you have this hydroelectric power plant that uses the fact that the water is at high level pouring down to low level, and this mechanical energy is converted to electrical power. The same is true about wind turbines, which uses pressure difference around the blade of the turbine to rotate it, and the same is also true about temperature difference in solar thermal power. The question is, are there new differences we can harvest? I have two words. Yes, salt. Salt concentration differences can do that. How can this be done? The method was actually first proposed, or one of the methods, was proposed by BGU Professor Sidney Loeb back in 1977. The concept is surprisingly simple. You need a very large reservoir of fresh water. You need a very large reservoir of seawater. And in between, you need some sort of barrier. We'll talk about the barrier in the next slide. The important thing to realize is we can generate a lot of energy. This proof of concept power plant was fabricated almost 40 years after Sidney Loeb predicted it. It's about an hour north of Amsterdam. And this power plant is creating 4.5 gigawatts of energy. Is that a lot of energy? I'll give you, as a point of comparison, Israel's entire power capability is 13.5 gigawatts. That's a third. That's a lot. Now, of course, because the entire process is being driven by water, we call this blue energy. How is blue energy made? Well, we put a barrier between the seawater and the salt water, which allows some of the particles to go through and some are not. I'm not going to go into the details. What's important for you to realize is that this filter is based on a nanoporous medium. What is nanopore? It means that the size of the white holes you see there are about 1,000 times smaller than the size of your hair. What my lab is doing is investigating the fundamental physics of the interactions of the water, the salts, and the membrane, and we're trying to understand what's occurring at the smallest scale, so we will be eventually able to improve these energy harvesting systems. Hence the title of the talk, which is now almost at the last slide, Blue Energy from the Green Lab, my lab, and how nanofluidics is revolutionizing energy harvesting system. I want to take the last minute of the talk to just end with a positive prospect. What you see here is an image of the Amazon River flowing into the Atlantic Ocean. Imagine that we were to put power plants at each one of these interfaces. It's been estimated that we could harvest 1 terawatt of energy. Once more, is that a lot? That's 1,000 nuclear reactors, about 100 times Israel's entire energy consumption, and about 10% of the entire world's consumption. And so with this positive thought, I'd like to leave you that we do have the ability to improve our fight against climate change. Thank you very much.